Today we're recreating Blinding Lights by The Weeknd on Soundtrap.com. Okay, we're starting off with a blank project, which is awesome. It's always where we want to start. We're going to add a new track and jump straight to drum and beat. We're going to type in every other bass kick, bass kick, bass kick, and the fourth one we're going to go bass, bass, kick, bass, bass, kick. That's our whole beat. You did it, you're done. That's awesome. We're going to change our tempo to 85. All right. The reason we're doing that, the song is actually around 170, but we want to do half the speed so our drums match. I don't have a better explanation than that, other than it works. So now we're going to listen to all the drum sets and see which ones sound the closest to what we hear in the actual song. I'm going to turn off the metronome. And I'm listening for which one I think sounds the most like the original song. And Gorilla really strikes me there. And I'm turning up the reverb. And if you just stop now and go and listen to the song, you can hear a lot of things are ringing. They have like a echoey vibe to them. They sound like they're being played on an 80s synthesizer, but like in a giant room. And so we're bumping the reverb up just to try and match that sound. And the really fun part about this is if you disagree with me, you can just do whatever you want. That's the absolute best part about all of this. If you'd like another drum set first, go with it, run with it, use it. Excellent. We're going to stretch this out over 4 measures, and then we're going to go up to this gray bar, which is our whole project size loop, and we're going to drag it to the 5 line. And I'm going to go over here in the top right corner and select that cycle mode. And that's just so the project keeps on looping over and over and over again. This is all we need, 4 measures to do the whole song. Pretty cool. We're going to go in and make another drum track. And on this one, I'm doing the 2s and 4s of each of those groups. And I'm just making it a hi-hat. So let's listen to what that sounds like. It just makes it more exciting. It's a fun sound to put in there. It adds energy. It's a great thing to put on the chorus, the part that's supposed to be the most exciting. And then you take it away for the verses, which are very chill. And so we're going to do closed hi-hat's an option. If you click on this, you can change it to any sound you want. And again, you're more than welcome to pick your favorite. Open hi-hat would make sense. It's a little too open for me. It lasts too long. What about crash 2? I like that. I like how short it is. I don't know why that's called a crash, but okay. I'm gonna turn the reverb up. Big fan. All right, I'm all done with that. I'm gonna grab the loop part, which is the top right corner, and drag it out. There's our 4 measures. Drums, done. Nailed it. Let's now go to the synthesizer. So I'm gonna make a new track and add synthesizer. And I'm not worried about the sound just yet. I really want to punch in the chords that we need to play, and then I'll see which sound makes those chords sound the most like the original song. I'm jumping right to the piano roll, and when I want to add something to punch in with the mouse, I'm going to go up here and drag this out. So I almost just grabbed the looping tool and pulled it over. I've made this mistake multiple times. So if I do that, whatever I create in measure 1, it's going to repeat it 2, 3, and 4. Excellent for working fast, but we don't want it to repeat. We want to extend the part, the bottom right adjust end, and we're going to drag that out. A good helper, if you're ever confused or if you think you've maybe fallen for it, it puts lines in, it puts your measure markers in when you're looping, and it takes them out. It's a very open rectangle when it's just one continuous part. Excellent. So now we're going to go in and we're going to punch in F, A flat, and C. Very cool. Hopefully it sounds like a sad chord. Very cool. Now you and I both agree that doesn't sound like the song. That's perfectly fine. We're going to change what that sounds like soon. I just want to punch in these chords. First chord was F minor. F, A flat, C. Sounds sad. Minor, referring to the sad sound, the tone quality. Oh, it makes me feel bad. It doesn't make me happy. Second chord, C minor. Again, the word minor, it's going to sound sad. Now, there's 2 ways to type in this next chord, C minor. You could do root position, which meaning C is on bottom, E flat, G. We build it up the same way I said it. The other option is to use voice leading, and that basically means how can we go from the old note to the new note with the least amount of movement possible? So for instance, a C from my F minor chord could stay a C. You went nowhere. C, checked off the list. Now I need an E flat. Let's look for which note is closest to an E flat. It looks like my bottom F is the closest to an E flat. So I'll mark my E flat there. Perfect, it's an E flat. And my next note is G. Well, A flat, the one in the middle, is pretty close to a G. Okay, so you see how there's little movement. There's no large jumps, and we call that voice leading. Those two chords alone already give you the vibe of this song. It's like it goes from sad to sad. Third chord, E flat major. Major is not minor. Major is happy. It has a brighter sound. It makes your eyebrows go like that. So again, using voice leading, we're going to try and do the least amount of changes possible. So E flat is the first note. Let's see, we already have an E flat. You stay the same. Second note, G. G for girl. We already have a G. G stays the same. C is the only note that's changing to a B flat. And guess what? That's only a whole step down. Wow, easy peasy. So now we have three chords. Perfect. And our last chord is B flat major. Again, major happy. Make sure your eyebrows go like that. It's a bright sound. So we're going to go in and try and do the least amount of movement possible. We already have a B flat from our last chord, so it's going to stay the same. G is going to descend to F, and E flat will descend to D for dog. Excellent. Let's listen to all four chords in a row. No. So let's look for a good pad. And I'm going to start Caribbean. Sounds fun. Very subtle. Oh yeah, it's pretty close. Ooh. I like how warm that is. It really covers that low end. We don't even have a bass part in yet, and it already feels full, which is a good thing. So then we're starting to get into three sounds, and they're not matching yet. One, like the chords are just really loud, and then when we get everything else going, just for fun, I'm pulling everything down. When in doubt, it can always be softer. If you put everything to 10, your headphones will stop at some point. There's only so loud. So if you bring everything down, you can build up and try and find that right balance. So I'm pulling the pad down a lot just to see what that sounds like. Because again, the whole point is that this is supposed to be underneath everything else. So I'm just kind of thinking about the future. All right, let's go to the melody. And this is where the real trouble is going to start. So just like before, I want to record this and get it in the program before I pick a sound. I want to hear the whole thing finished and then make the decision of what sounds right. On my keyboard, I'm finding W, which plays the note F, which I find equally as confusing as you do. So I'm pressing W to hear an F. All right. We're playing W, W, 1, W. I'm going to put this on the screen because I find this wildly confusing. And so you need your left hand to play all three of those. One finger is on the number 1. Your next finger is on the letter W. And the next finger is on the letter E. I don't know if that's an E or if it's backwards. Anyway, your right hand is going to go to the comma. And that's your C. So with my two hands spread out, and they're kind of set up like a video game now. Yeah, that's crazy. In slow motion, W, W, 1, W, E, comma, 1. This is filled with syncopation. Syncopation is when we have rhythms that don't fall on the beat. A lot of these are off the beat. They're in between the beats. Alrighty, so we're going to have to take that real slow, maybe practice it. The beautiful part, you can go to your metronome and you can slow down your song to any speed you want until you get it feeling right. And then we're going to record it, and we're only recording the first half of the melody. What we just learned, we're going to play twice. 2, here I go. Awesome. And I press space bar to let it know I'm done. And this is not going to be perfect. I heard my first one did not go so well. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to hit Control A. It selects all of my notes. I'm going to right click anywhere, find quantize, and I'm going to select 1/16th, which means I want the computer to find the closest rhythm possible to the 16th note, because about 30% of those notes are on the E's and U's. They're using the 16th notes. If none of that made sense, that's fine. Let's just see if it worked. It worked. Excellent. If you're having trouble and you can't get it to line up the way you hear it right now, I'm going to show you just what it looks like. And if you want to take the time to punch it in, feel free to pause it right here and count the measures. It's just so difficult. So this is where measure 2 is. But if you want to count the squares, you can do that. Or if yours just sounds slightly off, you can look at mine and just see which one is not where it's supposed to be. All right, moving forward, we need to play the second half of this melody. So now we're going to go back to the instrument and let's figure out how to play the second half. The second half starts on B flat, which is 5, the number 5. We have 5, E, W, 1. And we're going to go. And then your ear probably went da, which is W. Again, riddled with syncopation. It's all over the place. So if you're having a hard time with this rhythm, option 1, do it however you want to. It's your project. All right, you're fine. 2, go in and fix the piano scroll to play it exactly the way you want it to be played. So now we're going to let the first half play out, and I'm going to wait till measure 3 to start playing, and I'm going to go. And I'm going to press and hold F for the remainder of measure 4. Awesome. When it gets to the end, it stops automatically. No need to press spacebar. Big fan of that. That's awesome. I'm going to click over to my piano roll. And as you can see, my squares are not perfectly lining up, which is fine. I'm going to go in, hit Control A, right click anywhere, quantize 1/16th again. And I saw some of my stuff move forward. So what that means is I was late. I love the notes. I am disliking the sounds. The more and more I hear this Explorer pad, which is the pad we did, it sounds late. The sound takes so long to convert to the new chord, it just feels behind. So I'm going to go back to my Explorer pad instrument. I'm going to click here, and we're just going to go through again, and let's just start at the top and see if we can find a sound we like. So I want one that starts right away. And I'm going to turn the volume up because I don't think it needs that suppression that it had before. Turn it up more. Okay, now I don't like our melody sound, which we didn't even search for one yet. So now let's start doing that. Leads is where we want to start, and we can go with it on mute, or since it's the loudest thing, we can just let it roll, and we'll just change what it sounds like as we go. Okay, if I was making it how I wanted to make it, I might pick that sound. But since we're going for realism, I'm going to keep looking. But that one, I kind of like that one. I did. Yeah. And that's kind of the beauty of this software. The more you get used to it, you start to realize there are sounds you love. There are sounds you really relate to. And then you just use them all the time. That's what all the professionals are doing. They get a good sound. They go, okay, how do I squeeze 5 hits out of this? So act professional. Repeat yourself often. As much as it sounds done, we don't have any bass in here yet. And because there's only 4 tracks so far, I want to be extra. I want to go in and have 2 bass parts. And there's a reason why I want 2 bass parts. So we're going to go into bass, and we're going to find our bass synth. Awesome. And we're going to jump down, just to move this thing along, we're going to jump down to clean sub. And clean sub is just the note. There's no like buh, it's just the ooh. And it just rings. And if you have like nice headphones, if you have nice speakers, it's what you feel inside you. We're going to make a 4 measure bass right here. The first note we're going to hear is F, too high. Let's see if I like that one. Very cool. Excellent. The second one is C, E flat, B flat. All right. Now, I was incredibly lucky on clicking those on the first try. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm honestly impressed with myself right now. I'm pulling down the mix just so they blend more. We don't want it to stand out too much. Okay, you may be happy with that. You may be done. Cool. If you want to be extra, let's add another bass part. And we're going to go into our instrument and bass synth. And we're going to look for just something that has some, do you see that face? Some attack to it. Maybe this one. 2, here I go. Okay, now I kind of improvised some stuff there, and I'm going to go in, and I'm going to, I have to select all, Control A, quantize, 1/16. And so that would be something I would only turn on for the chorus. So now I'm going to rearrange these in groups of what I need for verses and choruses. Verses are the calm parts, choruses are kind of like the hype parts. So I already said my beanie bass there is for the chorus. My vanilla hi-hat is for the chorus. The melody is post-chorus, and it doesn't make sense, it's fine. Whole point is that I'm going to mute these bottom 3, and I should have my verse beat. And so while the Weeknd is singing, we'll do that, and then when he's not singing, or for the chorus, I'll unmute these bottom 2. Makes it sound more exciting. And then when they're done with the chorus, the melody comes in, I'll unmute the bottom. And that's our song. A great question that came up on my last video was, how did I get the audio? How do I get them singing on these? And that's a great question. I will go on YouTube and search for isolated vocals. So you can see here when I type in blinding lights isolated vocals, I actually have my choice of options. Then you're going to use whatever system you like to use to download the audio from these YouTube videos. You're going to go back to your beat, and literally you can just drag it from your save spot into the project. It'll automatically load, and now we have this. We have to turn off the cycle on and off mode, okay? So now we're going to zoom out. I'm pressing Control, I'm pulling back on my wheel, and this is how long the real song is. Okay, so what we're going to do, option number 1, is that you can figure out the whole song. You could go in here and say the beat goes this long, and you can decide where the melody goes. The melody goes here, and then you can copy, and you can say the melody goes here, and the melody goes here, and you can do all of that. I'm not going to hold your hand through that one because you got this, all right? But another option, if you just are doing a short presentation, I'm hitting Control Z until all this goes away. You can skip right to the part that everyone likes, which is typically a good idea for short videos. And the more you zoom in, the more fine the movement. So if I zoom out really far, it'll delete a measure at a time. And if I zoom in really close, it'll be like milliseconds. Very hard to tell the difference. So we want to find the wavelength of where the chorus starts, because that's all I'm interested in. All right, I cheated. I already knew where it was. Sorry. So I'm going to pull this forward to there. And now I'm going to have to zoom in and get really specific about where the downbeat is. Where is beat 1? Which is not that easy with just a vocal part. Okay, right in that divot, it looks like is beat 1. Okay, why do I want beat 1? Because if I drag it over here, that's where it's going to land. Let's see how close I was. Perfect? No, but pretty darn close, okay? So we're gonna zoom in. So here's the fun, and I'm gonna let you go from here. If you want to extend this out, you just select all, and you can drag this as far as you want. And so then you can get real specific. You can say, I know this is not here, and get rid of it. Or you can play the same game I was playing before of just mute it. Just turn off the melody during this part. And then throw it in whenever you feel like it. And yell remix while you do it. Remix! Okay, they're not perfectly lined up, but I know you can do it. So that's how we make this song. I hope you had a good time, and I'll see you later.